And we are live. Hey, welcome to Talking Doctrine, and thank you for joining us this evening. Tonight we have a shorter broadcast, just trying to explain a few things, a Talking Doctrine response. And so we're going to talk about the reason SinCity Preacher, the channel, was removed from YouTube. And we inserted the real reason the channel was removed. So to begin with, to start off with, I want to make it very clear that I do take full responsibility for using an image that I should not have used. It was a copyrighted image. It was a mistake. It was by accident. I did not know. I grabbed it straight from Google. So Google Images, I put in pretty rivers, and the images came up, 3 different images. I chose one of the 3 in the bottom of it and had a little copyright thing that I didn't even notice. And so I used the wrong image. I should not have used that image, and I regret it, and I take full responsibility for using the image. But using the image ultimately was the authority to have the channel removed. But the reason for having the channel removed we'll go over today, because using the image was not the reason that the channel came down. I used the image, and we could have rectified the situation actually easily, almost twice. But because of the interactions with the person whose image I used, he did not deem trustworthy us. Well, actually, you'll see Luke, because of the interactions that he had with him. And we'll go over the emails tonight. So this is not an attack in any way, shape, or form. This is a Talking Doctrine response, because Luke, I love you, but it really sounds and seems weird when I see that you think that I did this on purpose, especially because I'm talking to Luke, or I should keep it third person and say he knew about this interaction. He knew what went on. He knew how much I reached out to Mr. Eric, you'll see here, whose image I used, and talked to him. So he knows good and well. And you know what? Let me start recording. Just in case. I see that the stream is messing up a little bit, but in case I need to upload this in a separate stream, I'm starting recording now. So, we are recording. Welcome to Talking Doctrine. And so, the fact that I see Luke putting in, saying that he thinks that I did this on purpose, and he's going along with what people are saying rather than correcting him, saying, no, I may disagree with Matthias on some things, but I know that he didn't do it on purpose. One, because, well, hopefully you know me better than that. And 2, because you went through the same experience, the same situation, the same facts that I went through with it. So, granted, it was a year ago, practically to the day. Just about a week ago would be a year. So, you know, you could have forgotten, but this was pretty intense. This was something that was very important that I don't think you would just forget. So, but the purpose of this is not to attack in any way, shape, or form. Like I said, it's just to make clear to anybody who may be wondering Could Matthias have done that, or why would Matthias have done that? The fact is Matthias didn't do that. I made a mistake, and it could have been rectified. I tried my hardest to rectify it. And had there been financial loss, I would have paid it. So it was nothing that was intentional. And anybody who knows the ins and outs of what happened back then absolutely knows that. And Luke should absolutely know that. And even though he disagrees with me on different doctrines, I would have thought that he would have at least spoke up to what was true. Even if he doesn't necessarily like me as a person anymore. I just was thinking, I guess, a little more highly than I should have. But this is a response for that. And so after this broadcast, we'll have a chat room fellowship. And so we'll be more interactive then, guys. But I'll look at the chat towards the end of this and see if anybody has any questions. But, so like I said, the image was used when me and Luke started doing this. It was on his channel, and all he had was pictures of people. That's all it was. When you went to his channel and looked at the videos, you would just see different people from the different broadcasts. And it would get into like a lost sea of people, especially since it was mainly just Luke's face just plastered up there all the time, which beautiful face. I love you, Luke. But, it's not very channel appealing. So we were trying to get themed thumbnails for the different features that we had the different days for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so I intentionally went looking for a river because of the song, It Is Well With My Soul, Peace Like a River. And so I was thinking just get 3 images for each of the days, 3 different ones that were distinct enough and had showed God's beauty in a good way, but to where people could notice, oh, that's Friday night, oh, that's Sunday, oh, that's the Wednesday. So that was my only intention, and I literally went to Google Images and saved image as right there from Google. So I didn't know that you could grab copyrighted images from Google like that. I honestly didn't. I've been grabbing thumbnail images for a long time. So I grabbed the 3 images, and then I adjusted them, made them a little bit bigger so it zoomed in on the rivers, and then added the artwork for the logos and for the different days and for CES. So wasn't thinking anything of it, but about 2 months after we had been using this image, and also if you notice on Talking Doctrine streams, we usually have a banner. Okay, stream is going pretty bad because it just kicked me out. So guys, hopefully it'll fix. But I am recording, and you can just jump back if you get kicked out, like I booted out of the stream like I just did. So it had been about 3 months, 2-3 months that we've been using the image, and like I said, I've got a banner that goes across the bottom of the calls, just to kind of hide the people who are on the panel, so that only the person who is speaking at the time is being able to be seen. And it just exemplifies, what's the word? It makes people pay attention to the person who's talking more. So I think it's actually a pretty cool, rather than looking at the stream, or if somebody's got the camera on down there and they're fixing, something in the background. But it also just, gives a good focus on the speaker at hand. But I included the thumbnail image on that little banner at the bottom. And so it wasn't just the thumbnail. It was the whole video, because it had this image in it. Well, when we got notified, Luke was the one who got notified. He forwarded me all the different emails and got me involved so that I could try to explain and help with what was going on. And so we got the email about, like I said, about 2.5 months. I think there was 15 videos. So it ended up being the Wednesday night broadcast one that it put on. And the reason why I chose it is because it actually had some blue in it. The other ones were a little bit more green. But it ended up being the Wednesday episodes. And so we're going to go through the email correspondence that came in with this. And let's see. I think I have it here. Yes. All right. So let me scroll down and we'll get back up to this in just a second. But right here is where it really begins. And it's Luke reaching out. I have been notified by YouTube about copyright infringement, but I am unsure about exactly what the problem is. Will you please tell me what I have done wrong, and I will correct it. Thank you. And so this is Luke reaching out, and then I think him responding back to the same email before Eric was able to respond to him. So he said, "Okay, I think I know what happened now. I have been a Bible teacher on YouTube for 11 years now and made over 1,100 videos. Recently, a friend of mine said that my thumbnails were not good and offered to help that I started using thumbnails that he produced. Now I have these copyright infractions because he apparently violated some policies. I have never before had a single YouTube violation. Well, I just went over all my videos and removed all the thumbnails that my friend produced because I do not want any more problems of this kind. I apologize for this mistake as I understand it. You can retract your complaint if you want to. Please withdraw your complaint. Thank you, Luke." So, yeah, this was after I had talked to him and read it with him and was like, okay, so this is because of the image, so we'll go ahead and take it down. And he took down all the thumbnails. So he took down every thumbnail at that point because he didn't know really what was going on, and really I didn't either. At one point I thought it was a troll, but then when he sent me this email, I was like, okay, that's real. Because Luke forwarded me this email, which this email was because this was the response from these two emails. So it jumps around a little bit. Hey Luke, thank you for reaching out. Unfortunately, the copyright claim that I raised with YouTube were not limited to your thumbnails. And that's another thing. I was trying to explain to Luke, this isn't a YouTube thing. This is the owner of the images thing. So trying to explain that he's never had any infractions with YouTube didn't really matter. Okay, so you were not limited to your thumbnails in 15 of your videos. So there's the 15 strikes. But 15 of the videos, which was, the Wednesday night streams, you used one of my photographs that I worked very hard to create without my permission, and used my photograph not in your title card, but in the full frame image of the first minute of each video, and then continuously throughout your hour or 2 hour long video scrolling across the bottom of the video. I'm absolutely certain that this is my photo and that you are including in your videos. Fine details including the cloud formation, reflections, and river, position of kayakers, far distance, position, individual leaves, they're all identical. I don't have any record of you purchasing the license from me to use the photo, and my watermark that is visible in the original photo is cropped out, obscuring its source. I don't know why you or your friend felt entitled to use it, or even for 1 second, let alone 20 hours of your videos. I'm extremely sad that my work has been used in this way, and this situation has caused me many lost hours of research and working with YouTube to solve the situation. I'd like to request that you immediately remove all the remaining videos containing my photography from your channel, website, or anywhere else you have published without my permission. Sincerely, Eric. Now, this is blunt, straightforward, honest, and valid. There's nothing wrong with this. I chuckled because he's trying to give how precise this is, as if I would lie and say that I didn't grab it from the internet. No, I certainly did. And so this was apparently on it with this. But like I said, I zoomed in on the river, so it is the image. But I wasn't trying to crop out this. If you look at all the images that I grabbed, I zoomed in to where the river would be the main focus of the shot. So I didn't think it was a copyrighted image because I literally grabbed it from Google. So I didn't know Google just posted copyrighted images like that, because I thought everybody grabbed images from Google. So this is valid, and it is a request also. I would like to request. And so this was before I talked to him. So I got to speak to him. I called him his business and spoke to him about all this, but this was before I talked to him. And then what Luke did was said, okay, Eric, all the videos that contain your photo have been removed. We will upload them again without your photo. Now, this is Luke not really doing what he asked. He requested that they be removed immediately, deleted. And he said they've been set to remove, but he put them to private. And so, but at this point, I actually didn't know if putting them to private would be deleting them, getting rid of them. But I was saying that you should probably get rid of them, but I will take the image out and re-upload them really fast, so we can put them back, so we can delete them if that's the route you want to go. But let me call him first. But he went ahead and removed them, or moved them to private. And then he sent that actual to me. I was like, he sent it to me, not Luke. Okay, so he had to actually send this on a different thread to Eric. So, with that, we go to the next. We go to the next thread, and excuse me, starting to get cold. So I start to get a cold when the weather changes. So, hey Luke, I just spoke to someone named Matt, and that's me. When people confuse how to say my name, especially when it's the first time they heard of me. Like if I'm going to, if I'm ordering to go, or something, or if I go into a restaurant. I'm trying to pull up my video again real quick. Hold on. So if I go to a restaurant, I'll say Matt. So this is talking about me, who called a retail store that I own. He claimed that he produced the videos in question for you, and he apologized for using my work. I am looking at YouTube's rules regarding retracting a complaint. Unfortunately, sorry. This is a response. Gotta look at the time. This is 3:38. This is what was attached to what Luke sent me. So this is what we gotta read. Before I could talk to him, and I told Luke to wait till I call him. And then we'll figure out what's going on. But before I could, Luke had put these emails to him. And I remember he told me, like, after I talked to, when I talked to him, he told me that he had these emails and that he was extremely upset. And Luke put, "We will be happy to purchase your photo or remove it from our videos or whatever remedy you like. I think that it's still not too late to fix this if you tell YouTube you withdraw your complaint." Eric, I assume you already are aware that YouTube has given me a 7-day notification for my channel to be disabled. And then Eric put, "No, YouTube does not share that information. I'm sorry to hear that, though, Eric." Because his purpose was not to try to get the channel removed. His purpose was try to get the videos down. But this email right here is why, and came in before I talked to Eric myself. I was trying to talk to him, and when I got a hold of him, he had already got this email, and he was like, "This is ridiculous." Eric, YouTube has given me a notice for my channel to be disabled 7 days. One $32 photo, 15 strikes. That doesn't seem fair. And just to me, 11 years and thousands of hours of work for the benefit of YouTube Christians, now to be discarded. I think your channel is Christian music, which he was mistaken. It's not. There's another person with a name similar. Do you want my Christian ministry channel to serve as it has for all these years? Why? Does this seem just to you? If someone stole $32, should they have their hand cut off? True justice is proportional to the offense. And in this case, there was no intention to steal from you. It was an innocent mistake. We have been trying to reach you on the phone with your apparent business number. Matthias is the person who captured your photo and modified it and then put it on my channel. He and I would like to speak with you if you would want to talk about this. Really though, Eric, don't you think these consequences are too severe for the offense? Please tell YouTube to withdraw your complaint. Sincerely, Luke. So, this right here did not show any humility, remorse. It was more of a, well, let's read. So now, like, cause I talked to Eric, and he had already had those emails and told me about it. And he actually said, when I talked to him, he said, "Okay, let me see what I can do to get I'll get him taken down, or I'll withdraw the complaint. And he was going to. And then he went to YouTube and realized, and here, let's read. I'm looking at the YouTube rules regarding retracting a complaint, because when I talked to him, I reasoned with him, and he said he would retract the complaint. Unfortunately, it appears that if I retract my complaint, I cannot make a future complaint on those same videos. So, he would have done it had one or two things. One, he could in the future make another complaint on the video if they didn't come down after he retracted his complaint. So if he could do it again, then that would be one way that he would have done it. Or, he says, if I retract my complaints, those videos will be made public again with my work again visible, and I will have no ability to remove them again if you don't remove my photo. I also worry about harming my own business relationship with YouTube Google. My complaints were honest and valid, and retracting them makes me look as if they appear they were not honest. They were, and I worry about my own standing with Google if I do so. So he's got a valid complaint, but what he's worried about most is that he doesn't have another form of remedy if they don't get removed. Though I've lost many hours and time, small business, I'm not looking for you to compensate me. I'm not affiliated with you or your church in any way. I don't have any knowledge of what your content is preaching on your channel. My work is produced by me with the intention of reaching my own wide audience on my own website and channels, regardless of race, religion, background, sexuality, or political affiliation. Having my work affiliated with a church-specific doctrine could erode everything I've worked forward to regarding inclusion. I hope you can understand that. That's the reason I don't feel comfortable letting you continue to use the photo or even license it for a fee. So he doesn't even want what we preach connected to his views. And if he trusted that his work would come down when he retracted the complaint, or that he did have remedy, then he would have taken it down. He was going to take it down until he got those emails. So I had already talked to him, and then he got this email. I'm like, whoa, Eric, this is Matt. Luke just forwarded this to me. I understand your viewpoint and concern about not wanting to be affiliated with our beliefs, which even if we purchase the license, and there's no issue for us. But is there any way that we can come up with a method that you feel protected in knowing that we will remove the videos in question immediately? I mean, I was going to offer him, can we give you hundreds of dollars just to hold on to, and if we don't remove it, keep it, or thousands, just something. We would be happy to put up a large sum of money in good faith in expectation of getting it back when the videos are permanently deleted from the channel with proof, so that there would be no worry about the images on the channel. I think if you could understand, it would feel like to lose the heartfelt work you completed over the past decade, and how heart-wrenching it would be. You will still be in good standing with Google, even though you will not be able to make a duplicate claim on the said videos, but because they will be deleted, there would be no need. And we can assure you that we will only use Shutterstock images that are valid and not yours or anyone else's in the future. And if we did use the images in the future, you would still have the ability to make copyright claims on the new videos. We understand where you're coming from, both professionally and personally, and apologize for any harm I may have caused you. But if you could find it in your heart to move forward with the retraction, because he was about to, we would appreciate it, and do whatever you think's necessary to ensure the protection and image. If you would like to talk to Luke directly on the telephone or me again, let me know and we can set it up. Sorry for taking your time again on this issue, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Matt, because that's what I introduced himself. And then I get this response from our friend Eric. Thanks for the reply. I guess I'm finding it difficult to believe that Luke will delete the videos once released from the claims. As I stated before, I'm not looking for money, even though a huge amount of my time has been wasted already on the situation that I was forced into without my consent. I just want my photo to be permanently removed from Luke's channel. Since I have registered the photo with the U.S. Copyright Office, had I been interested in pursuing money, I would have hired an attorney. Claims for copyright infringement can range to $150,000, in addition to attorney and court costs. And the situation here is a very serious one, with Luke having used my photo not once, but 15 times. I did not choose that route, and instead chose to simply file a removal request through YouTube. So he could have gone a lot further, but grateful he didn't. Now, a lot of people say that he didn't know. He couldn't have known that that Luke put those videos on private. We'll see. After YouTube processed my first 2 claims on Friday, Luke did not delete the other 13 videos containing my work. Instead, the next day he uploaded a video, and then he gives the link, and publicly claimed that the charges against his channel were false charges, and then calls the situation ridiculous. I don't understand why he wouldn't have made the honest decision to delete the rest of the videos containing my work at that point, and instead took to YouTube to spread mistruths of that my claims were false. So he would have retracted the claim if Luke would have done what he requested. I replied to Luke's email on Monday and politely asked that he immediately remove all of the videos containing my photo. He instead chose to make them private instead of deleting them. And YouTube subsequently followed through with the rest of my claims on the remaining videos that I had made on Friday. Had he deleted them on Friday, or after my request on Monday, I don't believe we'd still be having this discussion. So here's the real reason why the channel got removed. It's not because we used it. Ultimately, it started with that. But as he said, had he deleted it Friday, or if he didn't find it difficult to believe Luke because of the way that Luke treated him in the emails and making the video and basically belittling him. In short, what you're asking me to do requires a lot of trust in both you and Luke. And Luke's actions so far do not seem truthful or remorseful. It is not my decision to disable your channel. That's YouTube's policy and decision alone. All I'm trying to do is protect my work and from being illegally used without my permission. Eric. For somebody that I consider an unbeliever, I don't know that. He didn't want to talk faith. That's why. He could be a Catholic or something. I don't know. He didn't want to talk about doctrine. He has this all-inclusive, bringing everybody in, which that's his ministry. That's what he's doing. But I don't know. But this seems very honest. This seems very direct. He did not have to give such a, not just pointed, but I would say even heartfelt. He's talking about his work, and he put a lot of effort into this situation. So my response to him was, I understand where you're coming from, and it really all revolves around our ignorance. He tried to take them down, but did not know that placing them on private wouldn't be deleting them. So I I tried to, give um not credit, but explanation for that. I told him not to put them to unlisted because there would still be access to them if one had the link, but to put them to private to satisfy your request. He thought by putting them to private was deleting them. So I tried to take the heat for this yet again, but this is not, this one, I was saying we should probably delete them, but it's your call. But I was taking the heat for him again. Also, when he made the videos, we still thought you did not make the claim and thought it was an attack, as we have been hacked before. We are actually going to mail a video today. We're actually going to make a video today explain all that happened, and a warning to other channels about watermarks and the lack thereof matters not. So that others don't make the same mistake and ignorance as we have. Because when I talked to him, he told me that it doesn't even have to have a watermark. If you're using the image of something that's copyrighted, even if it doesn't have a watermark, it still matters. And so I didn't know about that, and we did make a video about that. So again, you have to do what you have to do to protect your image, and we respect and appreciate what you've done for the situation already. By not making financial claims too, please accept our apologies and thankfulness. We will do our best to transfer all of the content, minus your images, of course, to the new channel. For the current one is closed. Thank you for responding quickly and also explaining your point of view clearly. We have no hard feelings and hope that you forgive us as well. We never meant to hurt or misrepresent you as we have. The fact you see God's creation is beautiful enough to focus your images, pictures is a wonderful thing to see. Keep a good eye for God's beauty and sharing it with the world. Even if people don't buy or use the pics, when they see them, they see God and His handiwork. May God bless you and yours, and that those in your life find Him and live forever is my prayer. Take care and God bless. So I tried to give him a little gospel presentation at the end. And then he replied and said, "Thanks for the reply, Matt. I really appreciate your honesty and respectful communication over the past few days. Best of luck to you endeavors too." Luke, I forgot. See, I didn't ever share this with Luke before because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. And but Luke already knew all this stuff. This was addressed to Luke, even though it came to mine. Luke, I had forgotten one point in my previous email, and it's an important one. Never have I insulted your beliefs throughout this process or insulted the work that you do. And contrary to what you may think, I equally have lost a lot through this process. My work was used extensively without my permission, and I've lost hours of precious time trying to recover that from the situation that you knowingly or unknowingly forced me into. So I simply cannot believe you resulted to insults, while at the same time you're asking me for a huge favor. Belittling the value of my work as a $32 photo was extremely insulting. I have licensed many times over, and my photography at a rate of $5.50 per use, a rate my clients pay for the unique quality of my work, an incredible amount of time it takes to plan, set up, capture an image, not to mention the tens of thousands of dollars I've invested in cameras, lenses, photography equipment, computers, drives, and education. You used my image not once, but 15 times, and still dared to belittle it as a $32 photo. How incredibly insulting. So, the real reason why the channel got taken down was, I get that Luke was forced into the situation, not by his by his doing or liking or wanting. But life's not about responding uh, or reacting. It's about responding. And let's see, it's in the other one. This $32 like when I read this the first time myself, I was like, oh no, what is he doing? And he said it again. Oh no. Like, yes, the guy's selling it for $32 on the web. We found it online and you could buy it for $32. But to buy it for 30, that was the physical print. To get a license for it, I didn't even look to see what it was. I knew it was more. But when he said that, I was like, because I saw this, I think, if I remember correctly, I was like, no, don't, you didn't send that. He was like, yeah, I already sent it. I was like, no. And he tried getting it back or something like that, but it had already gone through. But, yeah, the reason why that the channel got taken down was because he was insulted. And he couldn't trust, because he was insulted, he couldn't trust that Luke would actually take it down. And so, I'll take responsibility for the situation happening. And I do. But, and I never said really anything about this before because, it's no reason to make things worse by, I just worked my butt off. And yes, it did take me 5 days to download all of the videos on his channel. Because for me, I only do it one at a time. If somebody's got another software where they can set up and download a whole channel, that'd be great. That's awesome. I wish I would have known that. So with if I would have done that, but I just went and got all the content off, did what I could do to fix it, but had Luke really just not even emailed him, just left it to me, his channel would still be up. But he couldn't, I remember he couldn't wait. He had to send that email. I was like, no, wait till I talk to him. Because when I talked to him, he was going to retract them, and the channel would still be up right now. So even though I caused the situation, I would have rectified it too, and his channel would still be up had this situation not happened. And so the real reason why the channel was taken down was because of the lack of respect, the lack of, really, I mean, when you look at these emails that he sent, I mean, this is the most comprehensive one. It's the most insulting one. But you look at all the other quick little emails, it's like, it's not. Look at what he wrote. He gives a good, explanation. This is what he got. This is what he gets. Or no, this is what he gets. So, and then if you notice, all my interactions with him are really talking to him. The way that somebody should speak to somebody. Especially somebody, like in my situation, who was trying to rectify it. So, not trying to bully somebody into doing me a huge favor. And so it wasn't my fault that the channel got removed. It was my fault of putting this situation in front of Luke, and had that not have happened, then he wouldn't have stumbled. I'll take that. That's fine. But I would have fixed the problem if he would have stayed out of it. So, it not it when it comes down to the real reason why this channel, the SinCity Preacher channel, is not up, it's because he interfered in my ability of rectifying it and insulting the person that and probably doesn't even realize how insulting that was, which may be the case. But if that's the case, then there's a few other issues. Anyways, but when I read it, I was in my jaw dropped, like, oh no, that's not a way that you rectify this situation. But so for Luke, for you to go around and tell people that it was my fault, um, that it was my fault that it went down. I had told you before that he was gonna retract it. So you knew he was going to retract until he had read your emails. And I shared these emails with you. It's only that last one that I didn't share with you. Because I didn't want to necessarily hurt your feelings. Or, you know what, I think maybe, and wasn't trying to hurt, maybe I did share it with you. I mean, sometimes the truth hurts, and sometimes, because, there's several things, like, that I disagree with, and the way that you, Luke, treat people sometimes is one of the ways that I disagree with. So, I think maybe I did use this as an example, if I remember correctly. Sure was thinking about using it as an example if I didn't. But let's see. With that, it goes back to, Luke, you say that, I guess I'm going to talk to you for a couple minutes. I have it set up. How can I do this? How do I have it set up to where I can talk to the camera? Talk to the camera. That this was still there. All right. So, Luke, this is not an attack towards you at all. This was just to clear things up. Whoa, hey, look at that hair. And I know that I know you got to remember most of this stuff. So the fact that you're going in on other channels and putting in comments saying, "Oh, I stupidly let Matthias control my artwork, and that's what happened. He probably did it on purpose." It seems very disingenuous, at best. And so, Luke, I love you, and I've got voicemails out to you. You can call me anytime. I mean, even if we are not ministering together. I don't like feeling this way about you. I love you, and I would love to talk to you. But you haven't answered my phone calls for... I stopped calling when the situation started to happen. When after the third phone call, you wouldn't answer. I don't want to harass you. But you have my number, and you can call me anytime. I'm shocked that you never called Paula. With you can reach out anytime. But you saying these things there's a couple things about that. One, you're going into Cupcake Puppy's channel, Talking Doctrine Exposed, and making these comments, which I go in there for the entertainment factor, because it's really a highlight reel, that channel over there. But to see all the people gathering, the festering together, it's almost entertaining. If there weren't souls in the balance, it would be funny. But to see you over there, somebody who I think saved, somebody who I love dearly, and who I think knows the situation, what I just showed here, would be honest in there and tell people, no, that's not really the case. But you're in there saying those things, and that's very highly hypocritical of you. And do you understand why? Because when we were ministering together, and this cupcake puppy was just being obnoxious over and over in the chat room. But Umilda, when she first got to the channel, she seemed to be humbly seeking, and we gave her an extra allowance on the crudeness and the disgusting, vulgar things that somebody could say within a fellowship. It seemed like she was trying to push the envelope, but it also seemed, when you listen to her when she called in, because I've talked to her a couple times on the broadcasts, she seemed sincere. And so we tried to be as long-suffering as possible with her, to our detriment, actually. And Luke, remember, you were the one who was saying that we needed to just block her and just disfellowship her, ignore her, act like she's not even around. You were the one who said that that we should do that. And remember, you even said after, because that was when she was like hanging out, part of the fellowship. But then after the fact, when she made Talking Doctrine Exposed, when we did start ignoring her, you told me that see, I should have listened to you, and I should have ignored her or put a stop to it sooner and cut her off and not given her the ability to be in the chat room and be obnoxious the way that she was. And I, at that point, was one of the times I conceded and was like, maybe you're right. You know, I try to be as long-suffering with as many people as I possibly can. I want everybody to get saved if at all possible, and I'll put in as much effort as humanly, with the Spirit filled, possible. But I conceded maybe you're right. And then when all this happens, which the only thing that changed in all of this is that I basically talked about my discernment meter again, and like, so other than that, everything's been the exact same. My doctrine, everything I preach, I just explained that when somebody's choking on the meat of the word, when they've supposedly been saved and teaching mode, that they should definitely not be choking on the word, then that would mean that they don't have the right gospel. That you took offense and started hating me, and now I've changed everything that I preach, and you didn't know what I preached, which is ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. You can look at every broadcast on CES and every question that came through while you were there. And listen to my answers. They've all been preaching to both the saved and the lost, thinking that that's exactly how Paul preached in his epistles. He preaches to one location. I'm preaching to the chat room, to the viewers, and I know I'm preaching to saved and lost, so I'm preaching to the both at the same time. If you couldn't tell that that's what I was doing in every single stream, then you weren't paying attention. That's on you. And the fact that the same decisionism, I mean, the issue at hand, I broke fellowship or ministry with Steve because of it, Afshin because of it. We've had thousands of broadcasts with it in it. We've had probably dozens of broadcasts that were focused on how decisionism is a false gospel. And you even started preaching that believing is not a decision, that it is a revelation, and that it is about being persuaded. So I thought you believed the same as what I did. I didn't know that you could be tossed to and fro, go back with a different doctrine just because somebody else comes in and starts preaching another way. I thought You were just, I thought you agreed. I didn't know your preaching necessarily changes depending on who you're around, as it seems apparently so. Because I've always preached this, and like I said, you even sounded like you believed it and preached it. So I didn't think there was ever an issue. So it was quite shocking when you told me that, when you told me that the only issue that you had with me since we made our compromise was that I talk about the assurance too much, and that when I preach the gospel, a 5-minute gospel, I preach the full assurance for 3 minutes. Well, I'm guilty as charged on that. Sorry. I do believe full assurance is included in the gospel, and if somebody does not have that it is a major problem, and for the most part, probably, highly likely, that person's not saved if they don't have the full assurance. So I've always preached that, and you can go back long before CES was even created to see much evidence of so. So going into the Talking Doctrine Exposed channel and using it as a place to gang up, and it's like a little feeding frenzy in there, it looks like. But being part of it, it's fun to go and look at it, but see somebody I care and love in there, it's like, oh man. And also being, deceitful in there. Like I didn't do that on purpose. I'm pretty sure you know me. Know that about me. I would imagine so. I hope so. Because I don't think it's something you would do. And so, it shocks me that it would even come across, but I don't think it came across your mind, by yourself, actually. I think, you have some influences there, which is another thing. It's like, and we're going to put a video out soon about, an open invitation for the new CES head honchos. But Luke, you said that you gave me control of your channel stupidly on one of your comments that you put in there. But when I was helping you, I was putting my ministry on the side. I was focused on working together with you, Renee, and Daniel, and trying to be the technical support. Like, if I wouldn't have put all that effort in, we would have never got CES off the ground the way that we had, for it to just be taken away. So it just, I put in a lot of effort. So when I was doing that, I didn't even really have the password to your channel. I still had to call you sometimes, be like, what was that again? I didn't ever write it down. Because I didn't need it. You had full control, full access, total control of your channel at that time when I was helping you. And yes, I messed up and used the wrong image, but you were very rude, and that's why the channel was lost. But you always had full control of the channel. Now, you have it to where the person you have in control of the channel has influenced you to make you think in some way, shape, or form that a board was a good thing for your channel. And, the fact that you guys removed Daniel, you and Renee both said that you did not want that to happen, and that you guys got outvoted at the meeting. In fact, when you talked to Daniel, he was planning on coming that Sunday after he talked to you. You guys had a great conversation, he said, and we was praying for you going in to get your heart, or to the doctor's appointment. He said it was a great conversation that he was still planning on going on Sunday, and then you called him back a couple days later after the Wednesday meeting and said that you regretfully had to tell him that they outvoted you. Like, so now you don't even have control of your channel. Like, I wonder what will happen if they outvote you. Like, they could definitely. That's kind of what happened to Rome, using the democracy to outvote, and then it'll turn into a completely different situation. But I mean, right now, like, Renee, you and Daniel are the ones who started that channel that were still there after I left. So the only votes that should have been, if Daniel was going to believe, should have been from you, Renee, and Daniel. The three of you guys should have voted. The two of you guys could have voted Daniel off, no problem. But both you guys say that you wanted him to stay. So the fact that Daniel didn't want to leave, and Daniel hadn't been part of any of this drama whatsoever. He hadn't said one word to anybody. And so, you didn't want him removed. Renee didn't want him removed, but the board wanted him removed. So, it's like, at least when I was helping you, you had full control of the content and who was going to be on your channel or not. But you've made it apparent that you don't even have that by having to remove Daniel. Which also goes to show that where's the liberty? Like, why do you guys still hold on to the Unity, Liberty, Charity when Daniel certainly falls within ULC and has never said anything to anybody that would be considered direct or bold or aggressive or hurtful, which they say that about me, and I okay, that's fine. But where's the excuse for Daniel? Under ULC, he falls within those lines. And so there's no liberty, there's nothing for unity. So I don't know why you guys even hold that creed anymore, with what happened to Daniel there. And I won't even talk about what the technical difficulty looked like whenever he was given his gospel. Because right when he got to the full assurance parts, it just coincidentally, technical difficulties. So that and only the audio. So everything else stayed fine, but only the audio had a technical difficulty. So I find that hard to believe, but we won't get into that anymore. I didn't set it up for this one, but maybe we will. So Luke, you don't even have control of your channel now, and I mean, it's shocking that you would have let all this go to this. I'm surprised that when Ben said that he was going to do his outburst on that Friday night, that you didn't say no. Go to him privately. That is what the Bible teaches. But now you're trying to say that I add to the gospel because I say that you have to genuinely believe. I've always said that. As long as I've been on CES, I've tried to make a clear definition between just superficially saying, just a calling upon the name. Oh, I believe, I call upon the name of the Lord, I'm saved. I've always preached against just saying it and actually believing it. And so God has shown me that there's spiritual meat And if somebody who's supposedly been saved for 10 years or so is choking on it, that they're not saved. That's, sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. It's not that you have to, it's not that you have to know the spiritual meat in order to be saved, in order to get saved. That's contrary. It's you won't understand the spiritual meat unless you are saved. That's the point. So you don't have to preach the gospel with the meat, or the meat with the gospel. No, not at all. You just preach the gospel, and if somebody claims they believe, you treat them as a believer. There you go. Like I've always said. But if after a while that you get to a point to where they're not a babe, like a babe can't eat meat, but somebody who's grown up a little bit in the Lord, a little bit, will have picked up a few things, like where did forgiveness happen? Or whose faith saves? Is it God's faith? Is it man's faith? Or is it both God and man's faith when they come together? Those are three different options that meet. That's a meaty topic. You don't have to preach that when you preach the gospel. But like I said, if somebody's choking on the meat, it just shows that they're not truly a babe. They're not truly saved. If they're supposedly been saved for 10 years. Now, if we're talking about somebody who's only been saved for 1, 2, 3 years, okay. You get into 4 or 5 years, that's getting iffy. 5 years plus and you're still choking on meat, I don't think that you've actually been regenerated 5 years ago. So, the point that I brought out, that on my discernment, or where I felt somebody on the panel was only because of the attacks that were levied my way. I would not have said that, certainly not publicly, had somebody came and talked to me and I've been able to explain it to them directly. I would have told Ben the same thing privately as I did here on this video. No problem at all. Even if I don't think he would have hung up on me, because I would have been private. He know that I was doing it out of the goodness, genuine of my heart. I want to see him saved. I'm not trying to do this because I'm being me. Oh, I think I'm righteous and I know who's saved or not. No, it's that somebody who thinks that he's a Bible teacher keeps choking on the meat and twisting the word to try to prop it up. So, Luke, you said that preach a person. Oh, right. That is a good point. That if you believe that somebody can go into apostasy, which, Luke, you do believe that. But Luke, I used to see you preaching the full assurance. When you preached the gospel, you didn't leave room for apostasy when you were preaching the gospel. Just when you were studying the Bible and going over different verses, but you didn't include it in your gospel. But then you bring Brother Ben on, and he preaches the gospel and literally leaves room for going into apostasy as he's preaching the gospel to people. It was ridiculous. I hope that he changes the way that he approaches that. But yeah, that definitely needs to be something looked at. But Luke, you used to preach the full assurance quite a bit, and that doubt was not a good thing. That doubt was something that showed that you weren't a believer today. Now, where we disagree is that you think somebody could have been saved in the past and go into apostasy, but you don't want to argue about that because we don't know if they got saved then. You just want to focus on today, because if they don't have the full assurance, then they're not a believer. If they have doubt, they're not a believer. So let's focus on this today. That was a great compromise. I thought it was wonderful. And I thought we all abided by it very well. But now you've yoked up with some people who are literally preaching in a roundabout way. You have to get what they're saying, that doubting your salvation is proof or evidence of your salvation, that it's actually a good thing. And what they're doing is they're mixing up the battle between the spirit and the flesh, which there's absolutely a battle between spirit and flesh for a saved believer. But the battle between spirit and flesh is about doing unto the spirit or doing unto the flesh. If you read the lust of the flesh, adultery, lust, envy, strife, the lust of the flesh are things that you do. It is not the things that you believe. So trying to mix that they're basically saying that your spirit knows that it's saved, but your flesh is over here saying, no, I'm not saved. No, you're not a child of God. No, like trying to battle against the spirit. It's like, no, it has nothing to do with what you believe. It's like the flesh is like, let's lie, cheat, and steal to get ahead. Let's look at other sex in a lustful way. Let's do. There's many different sins that the flesh will want to do, but even when you do any of these sins, it never makes the person think, oh, I'm not a child of God, or that I'm not going to get chastised for it. But you can walk in the Spirit. Joy, love, peace, long suffering, mercy, faith. Like, these are all things that God does. And then the lust of the flesh are things that you do, but it's things that you do, not what you believe. And they're trying to twist that, oh, in the Spirit you can know you're saved, but in the flesh you can't know that you're saved. Your flesh doesn't sit there and tell you you're not saved. Oh, my flesh isn't saved. No, that's not what the flesh does. That's not what the Bible says that the flesh does. That's taking two different passages and trying to twist them and mix them in a way just to fit a doctrine, trying to think that doubting the salvation is a good thing. So even though, Luke, you think that going into apostasy, you leave the door open for that, you never said that doubting salvation was a good thing or that it was connected to your flesh, as in the things that you do, like when you sin. Like, I might sin and that makes me think or makes me believe that I'm not saved or that I'm not a child of God or something like that. If that happens to somebody, they're not saved because they still have themselves within the equation. So I never heard you, Luke, say that you thought that doubt was evidence of salvation, that it was connected to the flesh, or that it was a good thing. I've always heard you say that it was a bad thing. So, now that you're yoked up with some people who say that it's a good thing, are you going to correct them? Is it going to be a liberty issue? Or are you going to change the way that you preach and not talk about the full assurance? Or promote that doubt is a bad place to be, because rather than a normal place to be, like, because that's what these people who are filling the vacuum are. That's what they believe. They believe that doubt is normal, and the devil sends doubt, and everybody doubts their salvation. You and Renee's, I still think that I don't see anywhere that she's changed anything that what she's believed. But Luke, it does seem like you've changed what you believe a little bit since you've asked Daniel to leave and I've left within the past few months. But I don't know. Have you? Like, do you think Do you think doubt is a good thing now? But and we'll do a broadcast, a stream specifically on explaining how believing in the flesh are two totally separate things. Your flesh has nothing to do with what you believe. Your flesh has to do with how you sin and temptation and different things physically, not how you believe. And what you believe is not kind of a mental thing. Believe is when you wholly follow or wholly, truly, genuinely believe, it's not a mental here. That's why God says spirit or heart. It's not an emotional thing. It's not the heart pumping blood around. It's not the way that I feel, but it's from the center of my being. Like when I think of the love of God, it doesn't come from here, it comes from here. And so this whole mental assent thing really confuses me, because we're saying that you do have to use the brain that God gave you, but it's about a relationship, a spiritual connection between man and God directly. So this whole mental assent thing is shocking that people are now trying to throw our way. Maybe Monday? Yes, Monday we will talk about a few of these topics over the next couple weeks, where we'll just be speaking about the topic, the issue at hand, and that's it. But tonight I was talking to Luke a little bit tonight, because like I said, call me. I hate that this has been going on for so long, and that I have to make videos like this in order to even speak to you. You can call me, and I don't mind speaking to you privately rather than publicly. But I would have asked you to, if you'd call me, I'd ask you to just stop making those comments, please. It seems a little disingenuous, to be nice, but and a little hypocritical. But I can't tell you personally, because you won't even return my phone calls or answer the machine that I've left messages on. But so I mean, I hope it all works out for you. I hope that your channel and fellowship keep moving forward, but I hope you get to keep control of it. It seems right now, especially with what happened with Daniel, that somebody else is wearing the pants over there. And as long as they've got their majority, their Democratic majority, then whatever they say goes. Doesn't matter if you decide you want something or not. I would say case in point Daniel, because I don't think that he was rightfully removed, and I don't think you think so either. But I'll gladly talk to anybody, and really I'll do a separate video inviting the new head honchos at CES for a discussion. But the ones that voted Daniel out, apparently it was everybody else. So it would be nice if everybody would just come over and have a stream, and just ask all their questions to Daniel and let him answer with scripture. We don't have anything but respectful, edifying conversations over here, so it's not like a threatening invitation. It never has been, never will be. But we would really appreciate an open dialogue on this, because not only do we care about you guys, but there's a lot of people who can benefit from seeing the real difference, and why the board members would feel so not just offended, but what's the word? As if Daniel would be attacking them or something, in defense. they were so in defense that they had to remove Daniel before he hurt him or something. So it would be really nice to hear from all those people who voted against him, to have them ask him questions about doctrine and let him just answer. But I think those who don't really want to know the truth will stay away from interactions like that, or don't want to be exposed that they don't like the truth. But I do think there's a difference between decisionism and the truth, and there's a difference between the truth and Calvinism. But Calvinism, the truth, and decisionism all sound the same on the surface. And you can't tell the difference until you actually get into the meat of the word with them on where they, each in particular person, falls into place. But unity, liberty, charity was certainly not adhered to, thrown out the window. Luke, gotta say, it was your fault. Now you're sitting there saying that you think that it was a good thing because now you know what I believe, and you would have never gotten with me, which I haven't addressed that yet. Actually, I should have tonight. But your doctrinal differences, you wouldn't have, dude. Like I said, I've been preaching the same thing for years. It's in everything that I say, on air or off air. I'm the same. I'm an open book, and I'm the same whether the go live button is on or not. Anybody who knows me knows that's the truth too, which, Luke, I thought you did know me. So it's a little shocking that we've gotten to this point, but yeah, if you don't call, then I will respond to the Doctrinal Divide video here in the near future as a Talking Doctrine response, because there are some things I want to tell you about that are just completely outlandish, off the wall, and again, was it disingenuous, or or are you really confused on a few of these things? So I would rather speak to you privately so we can go back and forth and really get where you're coming from, because my intention is not to attack or hurt or offend you in any way, shape, or form. It's to have communication. And you just haven't or won't. And these are pretty serious accusations that I see you throwing out there. But I would exhort you to give me a ring. House number is not changed. But if not, that's fine. I still love you, and I will keep praying for you. But I did not expect this video to go as long as it did. Let me see, because I know there's a couple things here that I am forgetting. But yeah, Luke, I honestly don't know what you believe on different things anymore, because like I said, from what I see in the videos and comments in the past couple of weeks, it seems like you've changed your mind on several things. So I didn't ever know you were, like, you always acted like you were for full assurance. So I didn't know that was an issue until you told me, until you said that was your only problem with me, that I focused too much on it. So we will have broadcast here on Talking Doctrine explaining why the full assurance is absolutely necessary, and why generic and superficial faith is most of what is in the church, Christian, who call themselves Christian today. And everybody knows that, but the biggest tool that Satan has are the ones that are closest to the truth. So there's actually a big group of people who are regurgitating the truth, but because they don't have a genuine faith, they don't truly know the person, the God man in whom they're trusting. They're just regurgitating truth. They're like the one of the five virgins that will go knocking. They wanted to, they knew about the bridegroom. They knew he was coming, but they didn't have a relationship with him in the sense of knowing through the Holy Spirit with the oil in the example of that parable. They had to go try to find their own oil, but they didn't have an inner relationship with their bridegroom before he came. And so when he came, they went a-knocking, and he says, I knew you not. I mean, there's so many places in Scripture where all these false converts, all these superficial faiths, all these people who claim to believe, whether in works or grace, doesn't matter. If it's works, they're lost anyways. But grace, if they don't have the relationship, then they're still in the same boat as a lost person or as a works person. So when Jesus comes back, he's going to separate between the tares and the wheat. And actually, one way to look at the superficial faith is that when the Antichrist gets here, he will deceive the whole world. And if it were possible, he will deceive the very elect. Which means that all the false elect, all the false Christians, all the false converts, all the superficial faiths will be part of the great falling away. They will go after the Antichrist when he gets here. They will think that all of those who have superficial faith will think that the Antichrist is Jesus. They will. He will claim to be Jehovah. He will claim to be the 12th Imam. He will claim to be the end times entity for all the different religions. But all of those with superficial faith, and there's tons of them, are going to think that he's Jesus. To try to say that there is no superficial faith, you either believe or you don't, that's true to a point. But in the unbelieving camp, you either believe or you don't. Absolutely true. But in this unbelieving camp, you either pretend to believe or say you believe or confess that you believe, or you reject God. You don't confess that you believe. So in the unbelieving camp, there are two categories. There's those who are by the wayside, who totally reject God. And then there's those who claim to be joyful when they hear about God, who go into religion, who regurgitate the truth but don't have relationship. All these people are in the unbelieving category, but they say they believe. So these are the people that we say have superficial faith. It's not that there's three categories when it comes to believing and unbelieving, and then if you have enough faith or you don't have enough faith in the middle. No, that's not it at all. It's you're either a believer or you're not. That's all there is to it. But inside the not believing, there are two categories. And if they say that they believe, that right there is superficial faith. They're still an unbeliever. They're still in the unbelieving category. But they claim that they believe the Bible. They claim that they do know Jesus. They claim that they're one of the virgins. Which they are. They're one of the ones that went to go get oil. And they don't know him. They're the ones in this superficial faith are the ones, you could have works in here, or you could have no relationship. So you could have a Catholic or a Baptist in the unbelieving superficial faith. It doesn't matter. Satan uses his biggest tool is over here in this category, using religion to keep people there. And so if somebody's regurgitate, the reason why decisionism is so dangerous is because they can regurgitate the truth. And unless you get into the meat of the word, you're not going to realize if they're trusting on their decision to believe or if they're trusting on Christ's finished work on the cross. And it sounds semantics, but it's not. Satan did a really good job of trying to get his lies to sound as close to the truth. So he wants to get people to make this decision to believe, and then you get all these promises, but you don't, for some reason, you don't get the promise of the full assurance, the peace that passes all understanding, the effect of righteousness, which is peace and assurance forever. So they reject that God says in His Word that you can know that you know that you know that you know script, or know that you're saved. Scripture backs it up, and if you don't know that you're not saved. Because do you know that you know that you know that you know your spouse, or that you're married? How about do you know that you know that you're a child of your parent? Like, these are the examples God gives us in Scripture, and I don't think anybody doubts whether they're their parent's child. I don't think anybody doubts whether they're married to their spouse or not. So these are the things that God compares it to in the relationships He exemplifies as such, and examples that we can look for. So for people to come against the absolute no-so salvation, and say that it's a normal and good thing to have the war in your mind to wonder if you're saved or not. Luke, that goes against everything that I've heard you preach for the past 2 years. Are you going to acquiesce and not say anything because of liberty? Are you going to try to, somebody you think's a brother in Christ, are you going to try to help correct him and lead him to the truth so he's not making such a grave mistake? Or are you going to, change what you believe and, start not promoting the full assurance the way that you used to? I don't know. I guess time will tell. But you have given your channel to people who have now taken it over and making decisions that apparently you don't even want to be done. Daniel didn't deserve to be kicked out, and according to Unity, Liberty, Charity, and he hasn't even said anything remotely to the point that would be offensive to anybody. And yet, the Board of Darkness tried to vote out the light, or did vote out the light. What little light was on that board was trying to hold on to the light, but when darkness outnumbers the light, then darkness prevails, apparently. Because what we've been told to do is just go where people want to hear the truth. And if people don't want to hear the truth, then dust the feet off and go. And I'm not saying, Luke, you don't want to hear the truth, or Renee doesn't want to hear the truth. I think the two of you are saved. But I think the people who come against the full assurance of salvation the way that they have, I think should be apparent to you, Luke, that sitting in the pews with people who aren't going to be at the bema seat with us is going to put blood on your hands. And so you should definitely, the people in the congregation, in the chat, totally different. But those who you exalt into a teaching position and fellowship with, in a way that you should be their leaders, telling them, liberty, of course, but telling them, making sure that liberty is adhered to. So you should be telling them that, hey, look, you can believe this or that, but if somebody believes this or that, and it doesn't go against the three essentials, that we cannot keep this creed and go against it at the same time. I think you should have been able to stand up and do that, but the darkness prevailed in this in this situation, and there was only 2 wickers of light in that meeting compared to 4 or 5 dark flames, dark ones that just don't want to hear the possibility. Because Daniel doesn't have to be as authoritative with the way that he preaches. The way I'd say, here it is, take it or leave it. Daniel will say, here it is. Now, if you think I'm wrong, go check the scriptures to see if it lines up. He doesn't leave it with take it or leave it kind of thing. Which we'll all tell you to go to scripture, but the fact that Daniel was removed, especially with he was in no fault. He was guiltless in the situation, and didn't go against unity, liberty, charity in 1 iota. But yet still removed. So you let people take control of your channel, which is disheartening. I hope that you actually take control of it again pretty soon, and that there isn't a Jesus cue to get you out of your channel as well, out of your ministry, because the way things are going, it seems like that's kind of the next way. But I think the enemy's content with getting out the bright light, ones that make false converts really don't feel comfortable sitting in the pews. So I think Satan's content with getting rid of that. So we will probably do a chat. Yeah, we'll do a chat room fellowship just for an hour or so. I would say they've prevailed, but the story is not over yet. Oh, right. No. God, I would say darkness prevailed in the CES situation, because I'm washing my hands of it. I don't really care what they're saying over there, other than those in the chat who are going deeper into thinking that decisionism is just the same as the truth. So that's what bothers me. But God knows what He's doing, and I can see Him working mightily. And so darkness prevailed in this aspect, but only because God let it. Because, like I said before, decisionism is so close to the truth, it's sometimes hard to tell who it is that's in that camp. And when Steve and I butted heads and split ways, that there wasn't enough content, there wasn't enough interaction, there wasn't enough description from Steve's end. He was really trying hard to make what he was preaching sound a lot like the truth. But there was that division, and only a few people could see what the problem was from that circumstance, situation. But this one, I've gotten dozen emails of people who didn't understand before and now completely understand, who actually weren't even really part of necessarily the fellowship. There are a few people in the fellowship who was like, oh, now I really get what you're saying. So this situation has been helpful, not only for those in the church, those saints to be even confirmed, this is the difference, but it's also helped people totally on the outside who actually reject God altogether to see the difference between this fairy tale make-believe that decisionism is, and a genuine, wholehearted, true belief that the truth is. The fact that this happened, even though it's sort of like Joseph getting thrown into the pit by his brothers. They meant it for evil, for harm. So, what Satan was doing by coming in and false brethren unawares and really causing a division where there didn't need to be one. By that happening, that God let it happen, let that darkness prevail. So that talking doctrine would get on track and do what it's supposed to do, but then also so that people could see what it is, the big difference between decisionism and the truth, and why we at Talking Doctrine make such a big deal about it. It's important. There's life and death, eternal life and death difference, even though it sounds the same. So it is only belief, but it's a genuine belief. And to try to think that your spirit has any control over what you believe or what you don't believe, look to the parable of the prodigal son. When he chose to go out into the world with his father's inheritance and waste it away, he was in the flesh. When he had the circumstances of eating with the pigs, he was in the flesh. When he was thinking, I can go home to my father, where I don't even have to be his son anymore. I can just go be with the servants and be doing better than where I am now. He was in the flesh. Did he doubt that he was his father's son? No. Did he doubt that his dad would take him back as a servant? No. Was he wrong in the fact that he didn't know that his dad would just ignore the whole as a servant and kill the fatted calf for him and have the party? Did he know? No, he didn't. But he was in the flesh, and what he believed and his standing and who he was didn't change one iota. But he was in the flesh doing all the things, wasting away his inheritance. So what you do in the flesh has nothing to do with what you believe. And there's plenty of biblical precedent to show you that. I'm shocked that somebody who claims to be a Bible teacher could try to make such a connection. Your flesh does not determine what you believe in one iota, not one little bit. So I hope that makes it clear, but we will do a broadcast just on that, because it is a very important topic, issue at hand. And Luke, call me. I will gladly talk to you. I love you. I miss you. I don't hate you. I am mad at some things. I get in the flesh and like, Arr! I mean, I've called you some names, not publicly, but just around the house. But so please forgive me for that, for one. But two, I mean, I'm human. I'm just a man, and I was upset. So I would like to talk to you. If you ever want to, just give me a ring. I think it should have happened long before now. But if not, that's fine too. Like I said, I'll still love you. And let's see. And so, oh, hey, Rich. Okay, so we are going to do a chat room fellowship here in a few minutes. So if anybody wants to jump over there, I think I put the link in the description. We should have Doctrinal Cage match. Yes, that would be fun. We'll talk to anybody. I am going to put out an invitation to the new head honchos at CES, invitation to Merle, Living in Grace. Daniel was supposed to talk to him like 2 years ago, and then at the last minute he just backed out, saying that he didn't want to, confuse the babes that might be watching or whatever, so he wouldn't do it on the venue that we were on. So we'll invite him to talk to Daniel again on this venue, on one where people already understand what we believe, so he can come tell them why they shouldn't agree with what we believe. So that hopefully somebody will answer from CES, or all of them. I mean, that would be great if like 4 or 5 of them. And again, I'm excluding Luke and Renee. They voted to keep them on. But The others, all welcome, one at a time or all at once. Bring your scriptures and let's have a conversation. Let's talk about the doctrine. That's what really matters, and we want to help you and everybody else come to a better understanding of what it is we preach, what it is we believe the gospel is, and just how genuine a real belief has to be in order for it to count. We love for you to understand that. Well, let's see. I guess that's it. And then also, Luke, like, if you would have not gotten in the way with me getting your channel back on, it would be on right now. So I get it that I messed up at the beginning, and I take full responsibility for that. But I would have had the channel back on from my conversations with Eric. He was going to do it, but because of your interference, I was unable to get that done. So that was your fault. But the fact that you're going around telling people that it was mine, that I might have done it on purpose, I hope you'll retract those comments, or at least go in there and just delete them if that's easiest, or go in there and reply and really give a truthful answer. Unless you really think that I did that on purpose now. And Luke, here's one more thing that you need to think about if you make it to this far in the video. With me, remember you said that, what you lied to me about, but you said that the reason why you guys changed the password to the channel was because you thought that I might sabotage it or overtake it or delete it. And so you had to make preemptive actions. Luke, I don't think that came across your mind first, because I don't think you would ever do that to me. And I would never do that to you. It never even crossed my mind. I wouldn't do it to my enemies, let alone somebody I love. So the thing is I think somebody brought that to your attention. Oh, well, if he's going to type like that on Wednesday, what if he would do this? And the person who brought it to your attention, the reason why it came to their mind is because they would do that. And that's the person you have in control of your channel right now. So I would, by just all the things that have happened, even if you have a board, I would get full control of the channel somehow and not let them have the ability, the abilities that they have. I'm sure that there's a way to find that they cannot have the capabilities of sabotaging or taking over your channel, because those who brought that up, they would do that. That's why they thought of it themselves. And so you need to think about that, because I think what you were worried about, I did on purpose, or that I would do, possibly, because somebody said that I could. Well, the person who gave you that advice very well might do that because they were the ones who thought, like, I would have never even thought of that. I would have never done it, so I would have never thought of it. Those people thought of it because they would do it. I wish you would have known me better than that. I thought you did. But like I said, you won't even call me now, so I don't really know. But Luke, I love you. If you made it this far, just I'll be praying for you, your family, and that you get control of your channel again without any hiccups there. Nothing bad happening beforehand. So hopefully the board will let you vote your way into getting that somehow again. But we'll see. And for those in the chat, it was great having you guys here. Okay, hey. Oh, okay. Email is set up. Gotcha. Okay, so I'm guessing I can say good to know you, Joe, or good to see you, Joe. Um, but here, let me put. Oh, somebody got it already. Cool. Um, but Joel, we'll get together and do a stream here as soon as you have the time. I love to talk doctrine, and it's awesome that you. I told Kip last night when I was talking to him that I got an email from you. He was excited to hear that as well. So, hopefully, Kip and I will be starting doing our thing again. Here in the next couple weeks. But Kip he's been saying that he wanted to for a couple months now. So I'll believe it when I see it. But Lord willing, hopefully he'll get a fire under him, and actually we'll get that started again soon. But Joel, awesome. I appreciate you jumping in here. And everybody else, thank you for watching. If you'll do me a favor and keep Luke in prayers, especially his health, his ministry, join me in prayers as I lift him up daily, and that that God will still I don't get upset when whether in context or in pretext. I'm happy that Christ is preached. So I don't get upset when people are preaching a Jesus that doesn't really connect with the one I believe in Scripture. I'll try to help them. I'll try to show them the truth, but it doesn't offend me or bother me. But I hope Luke sees the difference between leaving the door open for decisionism and promoting decisionism. Because that's what CES has done. It's gone from leaving the door just a little bit open to just absolutely promoting it, saying that it's even a good thing when you doubt your salvation. That's evidence of the battle between the flesh and the spirit. So that's evidence that you're saved. And now they've turned it into a promoting thing. Like they rejected the light, and now they're like running to the darkness. And Luke, I hope you can see the difference, and I hope you don't start subsiding to what they're preaching. I know Renee will stay strong, but they might vote her out too before too long. We'll see. But I appreciate everybody being here, and there's background of these days 5-hour streams exactly. The Catholic Guide. Yes, that was actually the very beginning. That was the start of Talking Doctrine. It really was. By talking to him on the D13, that's where we started doing the feature, where we're going to switch and do, because that's how it came up with the name. Kip's like, not everybody likes to listen to people talk doctrine. I was like, well, why don't we just do a weekly feature where it's called Talking Doctrine, and then they'll know exactly what it is before they come in, and and so that's actually how we got the name for the channel. Shortly before he called it quits, real quick back then. But when we catch up, we'll talk about all that. But yes, it's awesome to see you, Joel. And if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to give me a call, email me at talkingdoctrine@gmail.com. I will send you my house number and we can have private conversations if that's what you want. If you want to have a conversation on air, which can be edifying for more people than just you and I talking, that's what I prefer. But we'll schedule times to talk to anybody, anytime, from anywhere. For any reason, whether public or private. So you can reach out at talkingdoctrine@gmail.com and set up a time to discuss anything. If you're dealing with doubts and you want to talk about why this full assurance is so important, I'll gladly talk to you privately about it. That's very important. If you agree or disagree and you want to have a stream or private discussion, give an email. We'll set it up. So, uh, uh, let's see. So yeah, Paula went over there. So I appreciate I appreciate everybody coming over tonight, and those who made it to the end of the stream. Ask Luke if you guys have, ask Luke if he's seen the end, and make sure that he knows that there's an address at the end to him as well. And like I said, if you call me, great. I love you. I'd love to talk to you privately. But if not, then please accept this public announcement of how much I care about you. So we will, let's see, it's midnight. Give me a few minutes and I think we'll start a chat room fellowship. It's midnight now that I think about it. We might do a chat room fellowship. Let me take a break, sit down, talk to Paula for a minute, grab a snack. I ate a small dinner tonight, so I might eat a little bit more. And then if you guys want, you can go to, the link is in the description, the link for the next broadcast, because I was planning on this one being a short one. The link is in the description. You can go there. If there's a bunch of people over there, then I'll do the stream. If you guys are tired and you don't want to have another stream, that's fine. This one was long. I wasn't expecting this one to be as long as it was. So if you guys want to head over there, you can. Like I said, the link is in the description. And I appreciate everybody for being here this evening. And I hope it was edifying, even to those who really don't like this division. I don't like this division. But I know that God's using it mightily, and that He's using it to show a strong difference between, Calvinism's off to the side right now, but the difference between decisionism and the truth. But hopefully we'll have a Calvinist here in the next few weeks to talk about just how close Calvinism is to the truth also. But see if a Calvinist will call me a Calvinist or not. So that should be fun, and I look forward to that as well. But till we meet again, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, which it might be tonight we might meet again. And so, like I said, go to that the other chat room, and if there's a bunch of people in there, then we'll stream. If not, we'll just do you'll see me on Monday's meet next, and we'll have definitely meaty topics to dive into on Monday. Lord willing, Daniel will be able to join us again. But starting not tomorrow, but starting next week, Jason, Jen, and Glenn will be starting True Story Live again Sunday evenings. So look forward to that. And looks like Sunday will be the day that we try to take off as a rest in ministry here on Talking Doctrine. So should have broadcasts, as long as the Lord wills, the 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. And then when we take a break, you guys get to go over, check out Jason, Jen, and Glenn. I love the way that sounds. And check out True Story Live for some really enlightening points of views, I'm sure. So I appreciate everybody being here tonight, and especially those who are in replay and watched all the way through. But you guys in the chat who made it to the end, God bless you as well. And everyone who viewed, I ask for blessings for all of you, and that understanding of these differences can prosper, can grow, can become more understood within everybody's walk. Because this is something you need to take to God when you don't quite grasp it. But He will give you the understanding, because that's what He said He would do. So I appreciate everybody for being here. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Take care. God bless. And good night, everybody.